Good evening, everyone. Thank you and welcome. Welcome to the Ultimate Coach live book reading, season 4. We are so excited to get started. Oh my goodness, my heart is pumping out of my chest with excitement to see all of you beautiful faces. It has been a while since we had our last season, and I have missed you so much. And so I'm so excited to get started. And again, I just really want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedules for you to join us in community, to grow you, to listen about you, and to read about you. And when it comes time to share, we ask that you share about you. So, first, I would like to take a moment and acknowledge the incredible and inspiring ultimate author, Miss Amy Hardison, and our very in depth researcher, Mr. Alan D. Thompson, for both of their magnificent commitments for creating the Book of Being. And I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Steve Hardison, the ultimate coach himself, who pours his love and his encouragement into all of us through the Facebook group, through private messages, through phone calls, through any way that he possibly can. He really is an incredible teacher on sharing and not being stingy with his love. And so I really want to acknowledge him for being such an incredible teacher of that. And I would also like to take a moment and acknowledge Eric Lofholm, who is an incredible leader in the Ultimate Coach Facebook group and the Being Movement. The Ultimate Coach the Ultimate Coach book itself continues to plant seeds internationally around being, and it is creating an impact and a ripple effect on those who are willing to read this book about themselves. And I really want to also acknowledge our two very special guest readers. It is such an honor and a privilege to have Judy Thurston and Eric Thurston joining us tonight for the opening the forward by Jan Levon Sant and chapter 1 Enigma. And I think it's such a beautiful and special thing for both of them to join us because not only are they opening up season 4 for us, but Judy Thurston was also the creator of the first and the original Ultimate Experience. And let me tell you what, that experience changed my life. So thank you, Judy. Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your courageousness. Thank you for following up on the nudge and the seed and not taking no for an answer. So thank you so much for that. You have truly been a mentor through your actions. And so I really want to thank you. Thank you both for saying yes to join us tonight. This event is a co-created space for a deeper experience of the book and to further explore what, you might ask? And that's to explore being in community. As we begin today, I would love for you to share in the chat. Where are you joining us from? I know we talked a little bit about it before we went live, but I would love for you to share in the chat. Where are you joining us from? Let's see. India, Arizona, Hawaii, South Florida, Toronto, California, South Korea, Dallas, Texas. Yeah. All right. Phoenix, Arizona. We got Utah, Vancouver, Canada, Mesa, Arizona. We got a lot of Arizona. I love Arizona. Arizona changed my life. So thank you. Welcome. Grass Valley, California, Serbia. Oh my goodness. Michigan, incredible, literally from all around the world. So thank you again. Thank you so much because I know some of you are joining us and it is like the middle of the night or early morning for you. and that is commitment. So thank you so much for saying yes to you and joining us. I would love also to ask you, would you like to share one thing in the chat that excites you about starting the Ultimate Coach and community together? I would love to see what excites you about being here tonight. I would love to read the first few pages. Who said that? If you, okay, we'll get to that. You will have the opportunity to raise your hand for that. Let's see. Technicality around the world, sacred space. That's right. This is definitely a sacred space. Being in community, the sense of community, learning and growing, the golden nuggets. Oh, we got some golden nuggets. I just know we got some golden nuggets. Incredible. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. And before we get started, I would also just, again, like to acknowledge you who are here. And I would just like for you to take a moment to be present. If you have your phone near you, would you be willing to turn it off? Would you be willing to ask the question to yourself, who do I need to be on this call and to be fully present as a way of being, to receive the golden nuggets that as a possibility could change your life forever in just one call? So I'd like for you to just take a moment, and if there's anything you need to do to be fully present, please take a deep breath and do that now. Your presence is valued. And in this co-creative space, as Steve always offers us to consider, the intention for this book reading is exactly that, to expand our state of being. So please note that while we love acknowledgments of one another and we truly believe that they are powerful, we request that you take this opportunity tonight to share about you. And if you feel called to acknowledge someone, we ask that you reach out privately and use that as an opportunity to deepen your connection. We ask that we maintain the integrity of this sacred space as an opportunity to deepen your awareness and acknowledge your own personal insights and share about you. And so, as a gentle reminder, we request that when you read, please read about you. And when you listen, please listen about you. And when it comes time to share, we ask that you please share about you. As is so beautifully stated by Byron Katie, all we experience about anyone else is the idea of that we have of them. So please be aware of that as you are sharing, and where to start to share from an idea of someone. That's not you. We may lovingly guide you back to please share about you. So at this time, I would love to pass it over to my co-moderator, Miss Fadi. Fadi, thank you so much for joining us and for being part of Team Talk and being committed to be here tonight to share, love, grow, and serve each and every one of us. Thank you.
Thank you, my love. It's so wonderful to be here. Can you imagine it's season 4, people? When have you read the book? 4 seasons. I am so excited. This is a brilliant, sacred space for me. This is like I'm going to church. This is so amazing. And I am so grateful to our beautiful Judy Thurston and her darling husband, Eric Thurston, that they're here and they're honoring us to read for us. And of course, they're helping us all to grow. And thank you so much for being here, both of you. Delicious couple, I always like to call them. And it's lovely to have you here. I see lots of new faces here. What a joy. And I just wanted to know, does anybody have a physical book? Let's see it if you've got it. It's not a crime if you don't, because I started it on Kindle, and that's brilliant. I don't see everybody's, except that it's just what it shows me here, but that's marvelous. And thank you for showing that. And I wanted to know the ones that are new, the first time ever they've been here. Could you just raise your hand and show me where you raise your hand that you're the new one? Good, great. Oh my God, you're new. Lovely here. And Jerry, wow. Tampia, wonderful. Tadasana, is that Tadasana? Did I see it right? Oh, wow. Okay. Excellent. That's brilliant. Well, this is an excellent space right now that I can ask those lovely new faces here. Welcome. Welcome to be here with us. Thank you for honoring us with your presence and being here and learning about yourself and our delightful Amy Hardison writing this incredible book. I always talk about it and I always say, like, if you come to my house, part of decoration in my house, there are books. I use them under the vases, under the bronze stuff that I have, always, because it's the latest style to use it. But this book, can you see, I've baptized it too, is into pieces. And even though that I have it on Kindle and Audible, but still it's brilliant to have the book and read it. And what we'd love to do is, as Steve Hardison always says it, we'd like to read the book, started before Judy and Eric would read it, that we would love to use a new peasant for the first time. Gurpreet, it should be wonderful if it's you. Would you like to read the back of the book, my love? Start from the back of the book. Good. And then I think I saw the name of Tempia, but I don't see her here on my screen. Tempia, would you honor us and read the first 2 pages for us, my love? The first 2 pages, it says, before you begin. I
I would
don't
love to read it, but I did leave my book upstairs, so I won't be able.
Oh, do you want to go get it?
Yes.
Go ahead, love. It's not going to stop just away. I'm not going to let you get away with it. So it's a great thing that we want to start the book from the back of the book that you start, Gurpreet. That would be wonderful. And then after that, immediately after that, Tampia can start. Am I pronouncing her name correctly? She's not there to know. Tampia is correct? Yeah. As you can see, my precious accent, English isn't my first language, so I can pronounce things differently. So forgive me if that's the case, but I wanted her to read the first 2 pages. And then after that, immediately after that, our darling couple, the Thursons, can start reading. But I'd love, just like how the wonderful Tanya mentioned, remember, this book reading is only about you. And it's only about you to come and share what you've learned, what you want to learn, what have you got out of it, and where do you want to go with it. But it's all about you. So please honor all of us and let's stick to the regulations so it'll be pleasant for everybody. And then we all can share about ourselves. Of course, it'll be time afterwards for everybody else to come and share their growth, their knowledge, whatever they got out of it. And that'd be lovely. So, Tampia, are you back, my love? Oh, no, she's gone. Okay, no problem. We still go on. We still have to deal with this until she comes back. And then before you start reading, I'd love to get everyone who have had, of course, busy days and long day. For us, it's 7 o'clock. It's 7:18 in California in Pacific time. And for Elaine in Europe, in England, is, what is it, 4 o'clock in the morning? 3:30 in the morning? 4 in the morning? My God, lady, you're amazing. So if anyone is from that far out, that is late for you, or I mean, it's that early in the morning, it's nice to start with a nice way of our breathing and coming into this centerness and become with yourself, get to yourself, and let's become present. Except the ones that they're driving, we don't want you to forget about the road and don't calm down and cool down. You're driving, so you focus on what you're doing. Tempia, are you there? No. Where's upstairs? Is that another house? Jesus, does she need elevator? Yeah. But anyhow, we can start our breathing, and I am just looking at my notes and make sure, yep, we're all good. And if anyone raised their hand afterwards and I don't see them because it's not on my screen, so I'd love for Martha and Tanya, if you could help me if I don't see them, and if you would bring it into my attention, so I don't want to leave anyone left out. That would be the best. Thank you. Tampia? No, Tampia. Okay, that's all right. But we can start with our breathing. We can start with just being center. So wherever you are, however you are, just sit up tall, except the guys that are driving. We don't want them, but just sit with yourself, close your eyes, have your back straight and have your feet grounded on the ground. Keep your back nice and straight with your eyes closed, and take the deepest breath you've taken from your navel all the way up to the crown of your head. So inhale it. And from the crown of your head, slowly exhale it and relax your shoulders. And inhale again, inhale it all the way up. And from the crown of your head, exhale down. And one last time, take the deepest breath you've taken all the way up. Inhale. And exhale all the way down and empty the breath and stay empty for just a few seconds. And get back to your normal breathing. Stay with your breath. And as you inhale this time, with an exhalation, open your beautiful eyes. I hope this brings us back in this room. And Tampia, are you here?
I'm back, yes.
Brilliant. So, my darling, the minute I'm getting your name right. Wait a minute. Okay. Garpit reads and finishes. You go ahead and start with before you begin. And Judy and Eric, you guys don't need me to teach you. You're the masters yourself. And then right after, you go right into it. Is that okay? Brilliant. Any question, anything for anyone? Everyone good? Perfect. Okay, sweetheart, you go ahead, Garpit. Let's start, please.
Great. Dear potential reader, as you may have noticed, there are no testimonials on the back cover of this book, imploring you to read it. I vetoed that. The only testimonial I'm interested in is the one you will have from reading and experiencing this book. Please do not read this book about me. Read this book about you. Read it about being. As you read, ask yourself, who would I need to be a more loving person? Who would I need to be a more effective parent? Who would I need to be to create a level of confidence that is remarkable? Who would I need to be at peace with who I am? Who would I need to be fully in love with myself and my life? Who would I need to be to live the most extraordinary life I can live? I promise you that if you read this book with the intention of expanding your state of being, you will do exactly that. Your experience will be remarkable. Who you are being is everything. Loving you, be blessed, and be you.
Am I next?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Before you begin, I never wanted to write a book and I haven't. I never wanted to have a book written about me, but here it is. This book is a gift from my wife, Amy, who wrote it, and my friend Alan D. Thompson, who conducted the research and interviews on which it is based. And it's not just a gift to me, but to you too. And now you're reading it. So with your permission, I'll give you some suggestions on how to read it. You see, this isn't an ordinary book. It's not simply a biography. It's not a self-help book. It's not a literary classic. And it's definitely not a book about how to coach. In fact, it's not a book about doing anything. It's a book about being, and it's a book about you. To access this book, ask yourself these questions as you read. Who am I being as a partner, parent, or friend? Who am I being as a leader? Who am I being as a member of my community? And who would I need to be to have miracles show up in my daily life? Who would I need to be to create value in the work I do? Who would I need to be to generate a life of abundance? Who would I need to be to alter my relationship with fear? Who would I need to be at peace with my past? Who would I need to be to step powerfully into my future? Who would I need to be present as a way of being? And who would I need to be to live the most extraordinary life I can live? Who would I need to be to know that my life makes a difference? Who would I need to be fully in love with myself and my life? Who would I need to be to improve my relationship with the most important people in my life? Who would I need to be to read The Ultimate Coach and have a personal breakthrough in being wonderful me? The best part about this book is about you, is that it is endless. The story goes on and it's written by your being. Loving you, be blessed, be you. Steve Hartson.
Forward. Ianla Vincent. The Reverend Dr. Ianla Vincent is an American life coach, celebrated spiritual teacher, 6-time New York Times bestselling author, inspirational speaker, Emmy Award-winning television personality, and host of Ianla, Fix My Life on the Oprah Winfrey Network. She is one of the most recognizable life coaches in the world. Have you ever had a serving of macaroni and cheese that was so amazing that it made you want to pee? Maybe mama or grandma made it. Maybe it's the right combination of cheeses, the creaminess, the balance, the beautiful warmth, the taste. In the future, you will compare every other dish of macaroni and cheese to that amazing dish, and nothing you compare it to will ever measure up. I haven't found anyone that measures up to Steve yet, not even me, and I'm good. I don't hold a candle to Steve Hardison because he's otherworldly. I don't know what planet he came from. Even though he might be able to walk on water, I think that he usually takes a boat. Plus, then he doesn't mess up his shoes because he and I are shoe horse. He restructured my DNA. Steve Hardison told me that I was powerful and brilliant. He told me, "You are by far the best public speaker that I've ever heard in my life." How are you telling a Black girl out of Brooklyn that I'm a better speaker than Werner Earnhardt? You gotta be kidding. You are powerful. Every time this man would say to me something like, "You're powerful," it would take me about 3 weeks to process that in my system. This is what I know to be true. Some things speak to your mind. Some things speak to your heart. Some things speak to your soul. And some things speak into your spirit. And when something is speaking into your spirit, your mind can't comprehend what it is. Your heart can only feel it, and your soul allows it. But it is your spirit that responds. Nothing that anyone has said, can say, or would say can describe the experience of coaching with Steve Hardison. Every experience is unique and authentic to who you are and what your spirit needs. Not your mind, your heart, not even your soul, but your spirit. That part of you that's connected to the angelic realm. Trying to articulate what happens in the experience of Steve Hardison goes beyond a place that your intellect can hold in the moment. When you go back and think about it, you can get the words that describe it intellectually or mentally, except that it's really at the molecular level of your spirit. I won't do anything big unless I call Steve first and tell him what I'm considering. And he'll have the same response every time. How can I help? Is there anything you need me to do? I just want him to hold that space because he is a mystic and he is otherworldly. For me, it's enough to just to know he's holding my project or concept in his space. I don't even have to think about it. I don't think I've ever asked him to pray either. He is the prayer. Anybody reading this book has a blessing that many of us didn't have. Authors don't usually write about most mystics until they're dead. Steve is here now. This book is preparation. It readies your mind. It moves the ego out of the way. Because if you read these words and are open to the experience, you're ready. Remember that you are stepping into the presence of an angel. It's not going to be anything like your imagination. What do you wear when you go meet an angel? My invitation to you would be to show up naked. Reverend Dr. Ian Levinsant, Maryland, USA, November 2021.
Chapter 1, Enigma. The employee sitting at the conference table was despondent. He had, in his own words, a long history of failure, addiction, bankruptcy, and real chaos. But those were the old issues, the resolved ones that only rumbled occasionally. Currently, his tectonic plates were in motion. His wife had just been institutionalized. He was raising 4 kids by himself. He was in debt to Timex, the company he worked for. It would be so easy to be swallowed up. If you could do anything, asked Steve Hardison, the coach who had recently been engaged to work with the executives at Timex, what would you do? I would write books. I would speak. Have you done either of those things? The man shook his head. You do realize that you work for a company that sells speaking and training, said Hardison. I asked the company president if I could be a speaker, and he said no. Hardison was quick to respond. One guy tells you that you can't speak and you quit? You have to do better than that. Look, I'll arrange for the room and you can speak next Thursday night. On Thursday night, Steve Chandler showed up to speak. Steve Hardison showed up to listen. He was the entire audience. The next Thursday night, 10 people came to listen to Chandler. One of the 10 was Patrick Prevost, a friend of Hardison's. Patrick recalls, it was grim and dull. By his own admission, Steve Chandler was a terrible speaker with crippling stage fright. He had a lot to overcome. One day, Chandler came to Timex after attending one of Landmark's personal development seminars. It was about creating your future. He had bounce in his step. When he saw Hardison, he announced, I now have a 5-year plan for becoming a public speaker. If that's what you want, that's fine, said Hardison. His words poked holes in Chandler's exuberance. Is there something wrong? Asked Chandler. You could take 5 years to become a public speaker if you want, or you could do it in 5 months. I'm not you, you know, Chandler said. I have to take a public speaking course. I have to get over my stage fright. That takes time. That's all in your head. It all seemed so logical, so real to Chandler. Did Hardison always bend reality? Would it be as pliable for Chandler? Chandler was willing to find out. Chandler passed out flyers to the businesses near Timex, inviting people to attend a free talk on achieving goals. He made up a booklet with some of his favorite quotes from Stephen Covey, Napoleon Hill, and Tony Robbins. Chandler would build a discussion on the quotes, which was much less terrifying than standing on his own expertise. As a single father with full custody and no money for babysitting, his kids would attend. They would be their dad's official pencil runners and unofficial cheerleaders. To counter his stage fright, Chandler practiced his presentations whenever he could, at home, in the car, during dinner. Before his kids went to bed, he would gather them and say, "I want to give you one of my talks." They groaned. "For only 10 minutes, that's all," insisted Chandler. Just as Chandler was hitting his stride, he was interrupted with, "Dad, this is so boring." "Count your blessings," he replied. "You only get 10 minutes. Grown-ups get an hour." One day, Hardison read a booklet on fundraising that Chandler had co-written before he worked at Timex. "This is amazing," he said to Chandler. "Why don't you present these ideas to the whole Timex team?" Chandler blanched. "I could never stand in front of the whole company and speak." "Of course you can," insisted Hardison. Chandler did it, but his nerves were espresso jittery. He was relieved when it was over. Chandler thought he did all right. Hardison thought he was wonderful. He asked Chandler to autograph his booklet. "I thought he was mocking me," says Chandler. "I felt like the kid with ALS who plays on the school football team because of the coach's compassion. The other team lets him score a touchdown out of pity and because they're way ahead. The crowd is cheering, not because the kid is wonderful, but because he showed great heart." "Why do you want my autograph?" asked Chandler. "After all, I'm in the company and this isn't a real book." "I want you to remember this moment," replied Hardison. "Something miraculous is going to occur out of what you did today. You will be a world famous speaker one day." Chandler didn't believe him. Today, Chandler is a highly sought after speaker. He is the author of over 40 books, which have been translated into 25 languages. He has created in-person and online coaching schools that are in high demand. He is known throughout the world as the godfather of coaching. When he speaks and writes, he consistently acknowledges the coach who was integral in helping him become who he is today. He says things like, "Hardison is known in coaching circles and business circles and personal growth circles and any circle that you can think of as the ultimate coach." He coaches way beyond the normal concept of coaching. To call him a mere life coach is like calling the Beatles a garage band. Trent LaMarche kept encountering Steve Hardison in Steve Chandler's books. LaMarche writes, "I was intrigued by this fellow Steve Chandler kept mentioning, this ultimate coach, who coached Chandler for nearly 30 years. I was in awe of the fees that he commanded and the people that he coached. My main question was, what on earth does he do to warrant such respect and admiration? That question may well be in the minds of those who pick up this book." LaMarche found his answer slowly as bits and pieces and stories about this man surfaced. Within these pages are bits and pieces and stories that reveal Steve Hardison. There are stories about Hardison's childhood, his family of origin, the people and disciplines that shaped his thinking, and the path that led to his coaching. There are principles that are fundamental to his coaching. There are stories from people Steve has coached. These stories are the warp and woof of this book. They are approximate as much as possible, stepping into Hardison's office and experiencing his coaching. Beyond that, there are stories of Steve Hardison the man, stories that delight, stories that evoke a giggle or even a belly laugh, stories that baffle, and stories that astound. There are stories that leave readers inspired to live big and bold, alight with fire of their own possibility. Perhaps we, like LaMarche, can start to understand Hardison through these stories. Or perhaps we will understand him when we read about the things that nearly crushed him. Or perhaps we will never totally understand this enigmatic force, this Tasmanian devil of passion and power. Perhaps we don't need to. Perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy.
Woo, excellent. And just inhale some of his energy. Isn't that an amazing sentence to end it with? Thank you so much for reading, all you beautiful readers.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
I was on mute. What happened? It just... So you had nothing so far, I've said? I wrote the book, man. Well, I've been talking forever. So I just said, what a beautiful sentence to end it with. I close the book that it says, perhaps you just need to take a little bit of, what was the last word on it? Perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy. Having read that part, thank you all you beautiful 4 readers so far. And I wanted to ask the very beautiful Garpreet. Am I pronouncing your name right, sweetheart?
Yes, you are.
So since you were the first reader, do you have anything that you wanted to share? What you got out of it? How did you feel? What
Well,
resonated with you?
Everything resonates. I feel like I am already experiencing miracles even before this book, kind of like crossed my path with this book and with Steve Hardison's life and this incredible group. This was brought to my attention by Tom. And I know I shouldn't be calling names, but I was introduced into the group and the book, and synchronicities are just happening one after another. I was on a call earlier today with a team, with the ultimate coach team member, and they brought me to my attention about this book reading that starts today. And I was just planning on starting to read my book today because I just got it. And yes, I mean, I have no words right now. I am just like, how like a little child just sees this fireworks in the sky and they're like, I am quite literally experiencing that right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A great feeling.
Yes.
What a place to feel that and share with all these wonderful people here. What a blessing. Thank you for sharing. That
Thank you.
is so precious. Thank you. Our lovely Temp here. What did you get out of it? Would you like to share?
Sure. What I've gotten out of it so far is just basically about my own personal growth and like what I hope to accomplish throughout this whole journey. So I'm really excited and thrilled to learn and be here and learn from each one of you because I can always learn. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Darling, we're all here to learn. And the more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. I always say that, isn't it? So welcome to this club, this amazing space. And I hope we see you more often and you get a lot more. And we, just like us, you keep on growing as we grow, all of us, isn't it? That's marvelous. To our lovely couple, our love bugs, Thursons, tell us. Judy, come on.
Woo. I'm really marinating on reading it about me and having personal experience with Steve and him sharing to me that I'm powerful. And I remember that feeling of like, who is he talking to? And really not believing him. When I first met him, I just felt so small and so unworthy. And, sometimes we need to be told until we believe it ourselves. And here we're about 3 years out since I first met Steve. And, I really do see how powerful I'm being with the things that I've been able to create and the impact of my life. And it's not because I'm powerful, it's because I'm just learning and applying and showing up and being. It's all about being. It's like, who am I being? I mean, all these questions in the back, it's every day we can grow in those questions. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I love, the story of Steve Chandler, because I can relate to that too. The fact that I'm speaking publicly in a group Zoom, that's a miracle. So I'm very grateful for the growth that I've seen in my life, in our marriage, with my kids and my friends. And it's just such an honor to be here with all of you. So thank you.
That's wonderful. It's an honor to have you here with us. And thank you for teaching all of us who you have been. We love you. You're a joy. Keep on shining, sweetheart.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. All right, Mr. Handsome Eric, tell us. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, this particular reading has hit me in a quite profound and encouraging way. And I think it's interesting because I'm on the other side of the biggest commitment to myself that I've ever made. And the line where it talks about living, let's see, let me just pull that up real quick. Where it says, there are stories that leave readers inspired to live big and bold, alight with the fire of their own possibility. We're in this new amazing house that in the past we would have felt was not possible. We're experiencing things that were only dreams and fantasies just a few short years ago. The line where it talks about who would I need to be to step powerfully into my future. And I think for a long time, I've looked for shortcuts to being. I've looked for the quick fixes or the algorithm or the secret sauce, and not realizing that something as simple as commitment and integrity and agreement were the ingredients that I needed for that big and bold future that I had always dreamed of, but hadn't realized. And for me, sitting on this side of it and starting to realize some of those things and starting to see, and even being faced with further levels of commitment, the growth that I've had in the ceiling, and how do I punch through that without fear, knowing that there's greater possibilities and greater things in store if I only courageously punch through those limitations and fears and hesitations and over-analyzations and all of those things. And largely has been inspired by this. has been inspired by showing up in this community and committing to this community. 20 years. Following Eric Lofholm's example, I committed 20 years to serve this community through supporting the Ultimate Experience events and the YouTube channel. And it's the commitment that's making that ceiling the new floor. So
amazing, amazing. Thank you. I did say I told Eric, if I have 20 years left for me, I will do 20 years. And then I can expand it. I have to have a commitment with God and keep on expanding it after that every 2 years. So let's see what happens so far. So far, a year is gone, but 19 more years. But blessings to both of you. Thank you for being there and helping all of us grow. And you guys are incredible.
can I share one more thing?
You're sure, my love. Go ahead. You have all night.
You triggered another thing that I had been feeling is if I live the average age of the person in this country that I live in, I have 27 summers left.
Oh,
27. And I've been thinking about that a lot.
mm-hmm.
And I've been inspired to take decisive and bold action quickly without hesitation so that I can realize the greatest degree of amplification of the impact that I can have.
Amen. Amen.
So,
that's fabulous.
And Fari, I'm hoping that we're doing this together for 27 of those summers. So let's go.
Let's shake hand every year. I'm all in there with you, believe me. Well, it's a fabulous share. It's a one, as you can hear it all, it's amazing space to be here. And now with that, we're going to open it to all of you. So if you all have, or any of you has anything that you'd like to share, you can just press with the electronic hand and I can see the wonderful David and then our delightful Martha after that. And if anybody else would like to come and share, please come and share. And do remember, you sharing about you. It's all about you. It's about how you feel, how you see, how you do. And it's only about you. So just share about you, listen about you. And let's keep this space as sacred as it is. And having said that, David Block, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fari.
Sure.
When I think of being, the next words are and becoming, as becoming more and more of who we are and who we're going to be, because it's a process. And I'm reminded of a conversation I had with Steve Chandler maybe 10 or 11 years ago, because we had both been in sales, and I had a sales manager who said 80% of managing is reminding. And I say, no, 80% of coaching is reminding. And Steve was coaching, Chandler was coaching me at the time, and he agreed. And I feel the same way here, because when we were doing this twice a week last time, I was so much more present and so much more being myself. And then we went on hiatus, and I'm being reminded as 80% of whatever is, I'm being reminded of what it is to be in this community again, with like-minded people who are being and becoming more of who we are, not just being me and not just about me, but also being me within a community of people who are being them. And this is extraordinarily powerful and extraordinarily grounding at the same time. And it's an honor to be here with all of you and to see a lot of you again and some of you for the first time. And I look forward to going through this yet again and being reminded of more. And when I met Steve Chandler, he was nothing like this guy. And he is, he is, the godfather of coaching. Is Steve Hardison is the ultimate coach. Chandler, is brilliant at what he does. But I remember when he talked about having such stage fright that he wanted to speak from the back of the room so no one could see him. Way back when. But then he became who he is, as we all are. And yet I know that who I am is not who I'm going to be. And it is all about being and becoming and reminding myself of what that potentiality is. So anyway, thank you all for having this and for organizing this. And I look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
you on future calls as well. Take care.
It's lovely to have you here. And you mentioned it about this time that we come back. It's still going to be twice a week. It's still going to be Sunday mornings and Wednesday evening. It just happened that we started it on a Wednesday night. So it'd be lovely to see you and everybody else that likes to come twice a week. That'd be brilliant. And yes, it is a place of, as we all see Steve Chandler's growth, we're all growing, we're all expanding, we're all learning. And what a lovely place to see each other's growth and be proud of each other, actually, and lift each other up in that matter. So with that saying said, Miss Martha, go on, love.
Hi, thank you, Fari.
Thank you, madam.
Wow, this chapter, I've read this book several times, but today it really hit me and made me realize that how much I have grown. We're keeping not to acknowledge others, but I'm going to acknowledge myself tonight. Because when I first came in season 2, I didn't know, I wouldn't allow myself even to speak, and where I am now is just amazing. The phrase that really struck me today was, "That's all in your head." And there's this beautiful woman that I'm looking at right now, and she knows who it is, who has been helping me move through my own blocks, my own inabilities to see me, who I am. And when I read this chapter and how Steve saw Steve Chandler grow and expand and honor him and acknowledge him and support him, there's been so many people in this community who have done that for me. It's helped me really come out of that little box that I put myself on with limitations. So this is a powerful chapter for me, and I'm so grateful that Judy and Eric were the ones to read it tonight, because I love you guys so much. So yeah, powerful chapter. Thank you. I'm complete.
Excellent. I am so proud of you for acknowledging yourself, Martha. That's fabulous. That I think it's outstanding. And that's the beauty of this space, acknowledging yourself, because it's all about you. The share is about you. And to acknowledge you, I take my hat off to you, darling. Good for you. Daniel, wow, what a pleasant surprise. Yes, sir. Bring it on.
Thank you, Fari. And thank you to all of y'all in the leadership positions that you're in that are organizing and facilitating this for us in such a beautiful way. It's made such a difference in my life. I only found out about this world a couple months ago. And the first time that I read the book, I'm sure I read those first 2 pages because I read everything in a book, but I also was eager to get to the next part. So I don't have any memory of reading that part. Nonetheless, even a fifth of the way into the book, I started having like really powerful shifts inside myself, like what in Indian tradition would be called darshan, when the guru gives energy to the disciple. And I was having insights and breakthroughs and like a personal revolution, which is not what happens every time I read a book. I don't know if I've ever read a book and had that experience. So I was kind of like, what the fuck's going on? This is crazy. And it really, like, yeah, it was notable to me. It was powerful. And I love the emphasis here in that we're sharing about ourselves. And that's especially ironic and fitting for me in some way. And part of how I especially resonate with this chapter is because I'm at a turning point in my own life. I published a book a couple of years ago, and it hasn't been read all that much. And I'm right now going into this phase of stepping out onto stage, a little bit like a debut. And while I've spoken a lot before, what it is for me now is this, what I call transformational entertainment. And usually when I say to people, I'm a transformational entertainer, they go, huh, what? What does that mean? And so the idea of speaking something into being, and as you mentioned, Farah, the inhaling some of that energy is, that's like inspiration, bringing in energy. And so for me, one of the biggest things I take from this chapter, along with the remembering this moment, like Steve Hardison said to Steve Chandler, because someday you're going to be a famous author and a speaker. Part of what I'm inhaling also is from Steve Hardison, his just the courage and commitment and willingness to step forward in service of something bigger, which sublimates or puts away the fears or insecurities that might have kept me back in the past. So what I'm inhaling is the courage and commitment to really step forward in as big a way as is possible. And it's really exciting. So, and I'm just thrilled with the book and of course, Steve himself, but this community has been such a part of that for me in ways that I just could not have imagined. And so I'm super grateful and excited to be here, and love that I get this, my third time through the book gets to be in this community situation. So lots of gratitude. Thanks to all of y'all for listening and being here too.
Thank you so much. That's what a lovely share. It's a joy to have you here. And I hope we see you more often, and maybe if not all the time. And yes, the phrase that I read here is not from me. I wish I could own it, but Amy said it at the last paragraph, and it says, perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy. Just to inhale some of his energy. And if we inhale it, we all become another Steve Chandler in whatever that we're planning to be. So amen to you and blessings to you. And we hope to see you again. Did you want to say something else?
Yeah, just one thing, because I do a lot with breath work, and that word inhale from other languages like Spanish is inspira, right? Inspira means to inhale, which means also in spirit and inspiration. So like I take this double meaning from that, from Amy's words, all we need to do is inhale. And another way of saying it is like, all we need to do is bring in some of the spirit that is Steve Hardison. So yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you for giving me the space.
Soon we will celebrate your achievements and your victory, becoming another version of Steve Chandler in your own world. Blessings to you. Thank you. Nasira, oh my God. We just talked a few days ago. Nasira had no idea about this Facebook group, about the definitely book reading. And we just connected on the phone I think it was last Monday, wasn't it? And we talked, and I said, oh my God, she had the book, never read it. And I said, okay, get the book out. Immediately, I got her to be friends in Facebook group, and there you are. Beautiful, darling. Welcome. Let's hear
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thanks a lot, Fari, and good morning to everybody over here. I'm based out of India, the south of India. So namaste from India.
Namaste.
I have just started reading the book, and I'm very grateful to Fari for inviting me here. I'm absolutely honored to be in the presence of such a reflective, positive group of people that today I feel very infused by all this energy that you all are all giving out. A little bit about me is that I used to be a corporate rat, tasted success and I loved it, but I realized that I was not being very authentic. And about 2 years back, I took my leap of faith and went out on my own, and I founded Energy Architect. I'd have to say that right now where I am is that the old me is not dead and the new me is still not born, but I know that I am becoming, and what I am becoming is a lot more authentic. Like this comes from inside. And while I'm not sure as to exactly where I'm headed, I know that I've taken my first step. And I believe that the path will show itself. So thank you, everybody, and Atma Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for coming and sharing. We're going to see a lot more of you. And as I said, very soon we all celebrate our wins of like how far we've gone in such a short time being in this space, just being in this space, being in this space. Do you see what I'm saying? Being. Not doing, not going, being something new that we've never known in the past, was not introduced to any of us except through this book. And blessings to you, my love. Thank you for coming. Yes, Wolfgang. Hi. Nice to see you.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
I reflect back to the first round of reading, which we finished before summer. And I just realized today that afterwards something was missing. And just being here today, I realize how much is that home, being here. And when I just started the first reading, I haven't known anybody here, but Dave, I shared a room with in Mumbai, and I talked to 1 or 2 people here before. Being here today is like I have spoken, having had a meeting with almost every one of you. And there I can see the connection and the shift which happened. And just being here, I realized in the last week since I came back to my family after the first round of room 509, I realized so much more about being. Who am I being than who am I speaking? And thank you for organizing that. I'm complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, not hopefully, for sure, we're all in this ladder of soaring in life. And it's just every single time we come back is a place of celebrating each of us and all of us. And yes, my darling Tanya, that works so hard behind the scenes. She's the leader in this book reading, and we all have learned so much from this amazing woman. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Thank you, Fadi. Thank you so much. Tonight's book reading really touched me in such a special place because I was really in tune to the questions in the back of the book. And when it got to Steve Chandler's part where it's when Steve said, "You're going to let one person tell you no, and you're okay with that?" And I thought to myself, well, wow, I can really relate to that one. And I turned around and I grabbed Steve Chandler's book, Crazy Good, that entered my life about 5 years ago. And if you could see on there, that is a heart electrode. And that is because when this came into my life, my heart was pounding out of my chest. And I was told by the doctor that I had a right ventricle blockage and I had a heart murmur. And in that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, who am I being? Am I being who I want to be for my children? Am I being love? In the back of the book, it says, who would I need to be a more loving person? And I asked myself that question. Who would I need to be a more loving person to me? Because when I made the appointments for the doctor, it was like a month and 2 months out. And I thought to myself, something could happen in the meantime. Who do I need to be now? So my heart's not pumping out of my chest. And so I can be an effective parent. See, the crazy thing is that this book entered my life about 4 or 5 years ago. And the ultimate coach entered my life 3 years ago. So when the ultimate coach entered my life and these questions were presented to me, that was like a shift for me, really getting into me of who do I need to be? Who do I get to be? Because in this moment, I still have a heartbeat. In this moment, I still have a choice. And so what was so present to me, and it's so amazing that I actually have it next to me because wasn't planning on sharing this, but I have an avocado tree here at my house. And right around the same time that my heart was pounding out of my chest, because my home was under construction, we had severe damage from a hurricane. There were 6 of us living in one room. We didn't have a kitchen. We didn't have a laundry. Um, it was, I didn't have a stove, a microwave, a oven. It was just much harder circumstances that we take advantage of, that we have these little things right in front of us. And I remember that because of that storm, there was a disease for avocado trees that passed through here, and it really like took over avocado fields and killed like all the avocados. And I remember my tree, like all of a sudden, this giant limb turned brown. And I thought, well, that wasn't brown yesterday. What just happened there? And so then like the next like week, then this other giant one turned all brown. And I thought, okay, something's going on here. I need to call someone in to see what's going on with this tree. And so I called a couple of arborists in, and they said, "Oh, you need to chop that thing down. It's dead. It's lost all its life. It is much as dead as gone. Like you just need to get rid of it." And I thought to myself, but that's my avocado tree. I don't want to get rid of it. I love my avocados. They taste like butter. They taste so good. And so they're like, "No, you really need to chop it down." And my a friend of mine was like, "Yeah, I'll chop it down. Don't worry. I'll take it all the way to the base of it." And I was just like, I'm just not ready to give up on it. I'm not ready yet. So I feel it still has life. And I really thought it was dead. And for the first season since, I have an avocado. And look at that baby. That baby is ginormous. Okay. So if I would have given up on that avocado tree, like I was about to give up on me, if I didn't shift my way of being, as a possibility, maybe I wouldn't be here too. So I'm really grateful that this book came into my life because it really started to open up awarenesses of how I have the impact in my life to be love, to be peace, to be creation, to be action. When at one point, just to get up from point A to point B, I was holding my chest because I felt like my heart was going to pound out of my chest. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful that I'm not giving up on me too. Thank you. I'm complete.
I am so grateful you didn't give up on you. What would I do without you, darling? What would we all do without you? Don't you dare. So it's wonderful that we all have here. We all have each other and we all have each other's support. This is really a blessing to be here and be in this group. I mean, we all have these stories that is incredible how it's life-giving to all of us over just one book. That I call it, I'm not a religious person at all, but I call this my Bible of being, daily Bible. This is like every time I'm sad and mad and angry and frustrated, I'm into this book. If I'm very happy, I'm reading this book. I'm jolly, I'm reading this book, part of it. And if I can't read it, I'm somewhere, it's on Audible and I'm listening to it. And something comes out. I don't know, 10, 15 times are probably between the Kindle, Audible, this book, I probably have been through this book. Believe me, I never noticed this sentence. Perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy. This is the first time I see this line, and I've read this book zillions of times. Can you see how much every time we read it? Doesn't matter if somebody reads it 17,000 times. It's important that when you read it one time, you get a lot out of it. And how do you let it operate in your heart and soul and in your life? That's the best part of it. And having said that, Dave Orton, the man, bring it on.
Thank you. Thank you all who helped to read, helped to create this on behalf of the Being Movement, and the thousands that are already part of our group and the millions who are yet to discover this. Thank you for creating this. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are here, and I'm talking to you, yes, you. I'm not going to acknowledge you because I've been forbidden from acknowledging.
Thank you for
and I want to
noticing
share
and
something
appreciating.
with you, which is something that I wrote, Clary, about that last sentence. What Amy wrote was, perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy. And for myself, what I wrote was, perhaps we are here to become our own version of Steve. Not like Steve, but like our greatest and most divine version of ourself. And that is what is showing up for me. And that is what I see in you. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the wonderful shares. And yeah, every chapter, whether it's 2 pages or 30 pages, every line is so clear that it's written from the heart of Amy Hardison, with all that research of Alan D. Thompson that he did. And she's gone through it all. Every single bit of it is related to how Steve Hardison has been being. And like the chapter, I'm big and huge about chapter 35, how it saved my marriage. I want to be a big girl and not cry, but how can you not? When I walked to my delightful husband and I said, I have to divorce you. And this chapter 35, when I had no idea who Steve Hardison was, but read that chapter, and not only it saved my marriage, it has made it a marriage like we're 2 teenagers. And we're not, I'm 66, he's 69, but we act like we're teenagers. And everyone in pickleball courts, in the stores, everyone says, well, you two are like lovebirds. And I swear it's because of this book. Things that I've had to learn, things that I had to unlearn about myself, so I can become a better person, so I can become who I'm supposed to be. And that's what I love to invite you to just sometimes learn to unlearn. Take this burden off your shoulder. But yes, but no, let it go. Be born again. Just like it said, perhaps all we need is to inhale some of his energy and see what is that energy. I've only seen love from Steve Hardison, power, energy, honesty, integrity, and all of that. It's plenty good enough to make me a better person. And by saying that, Renate, yes, my love. Let's hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. I missed that since the last round stopped. But I filled the space with being on the road with Wolfgang in room 509 and met the inspirational Dave Orton in person. It was so great. And I feel born again a day after my 66th birthday, when the universe literally tossed me to the ground and broke my arm. And everything what I experienced from that was my heart opening happened because I was prepared by my heart journey, because looking online for like-minded people and finding them in this group in the very first meeting, what was the after party after Mumbai, where Wolfgang invited me to, and I hesitated. Why should I be there? I even wasn't in Mumbai. And he said, I just know you need to be there. And I came. And I don't want to leave this community. There was such a warm welcome, and instantly I felt home here. And the funny thing is, my name means being reborn.
Wow.
It took me I knew that before, but it took me 66 years plus 1 day to finally experience that in an emergency room, in our 4 being in there. It's amazing. And I want to thank all of you to hold that space for me. And that's why I am here in the morning at 4 o'clock. I'm not in the 5 a.m. club. So I did something I never did before. And I feel so on fire right now.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we took that break, which was so good because everybody is really now ready to come back and everybody's enjoying it. So that's a great little break that we took. So you welcome back, my love. Everybody else welcome back. And with that, our precious Cheryl, how lovely to see you here. It must be 5 o'clock in your time. You're in Scotland, aren't you?
It's 4:22. It started at 3 a.m. So I apologize.
You're a better
for being a
person
little
than I
late.
am.
Oh, well, something called me here. I spoke to Tanya about it the other day, and I've missed this beautiful community. I'm just sitting here and I'm looking around a room full of people, and some of you I've never spoken to, but many of you I know well. I get a bit emotional. And I know your journey, and I've seen your journey. And from this book, and you're just creating quite literal miracles. I think Judy shared very beautifully about the things that are unfolding, and Eric, actually, maybe it was Eric, as one of you shared about the things that are happening. And then I think about this chapter and the word enigma, and its literal meaning is to speak in riddles. It's the word enigma. But beyond that, it talks about the speaking of a proverb and uncovering a proverb. So as I think of the word enigma and reading this about you and each of you, I'm looking at you, it's uncovering the riddle of who you are. And I think as people tap into this book, they start to uncover the absolute truth of who they are, and that starts to unfold in their life. And very effortlessly. Ask anyone you see here who inspires you the way that Steve inspires us. It's the same. It's a very effortless creation, and it's just that inner search of your own inner enigma. And so I love the word, and I love the title of the chapter, and I very much love being here and love you all.
We love you. Well, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Where it's a fabulous share, and it goes on, and it's like we never want to end this, especially tonight being the first night. And we all are so enthusiastic being here and learning about each other. By sadly, time comes to end, and it'll be an after party after this. And so far we've done it all. So if there are no other speaker, yes, definitely after party is surely there. And some people that they like to share, they don't want to be on the recording, you're welcome to stay, and it goes on. And by saying that, I am going to pass this on to my precious Martha.
Thank you. Thank you, Fari. What a beautiful way to start the season 4, to see so many new people here with us. And of course, to have Eric and Judy join us reading today. Yeah, it's so beautiful to see the two of you here. So thank you for having said yes to our first reading. Also to Gurpreet and Tempia, thank you so much for volunteering to read the back of the book and the front of the book, as we've been instructed to read. Every time we put the book down, we read the back of the book and we read the front of the book, and we start again in whatever chapter we left off. So thank you so much for volunteering. And to Tanya and to Fari for leading us tonight's reading in our community, creating the space for all of us to listen about us and to read about us and to share about us. And for all of the Tuck team members who have been working so diligently throughout the summer to put this together. So thank you. Thank you for all of you who are here tonight. So yes, so here we are. We will have our second reading on Sunday, September 24th. At 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we hope to see you as we read chapter 2, Roots. And so we're encouraging you, when you do come to join us on Sunday morning, to bring a picture of yourself, of your family, of something that may remind you of where your roots are planted, and share with us in our reading group. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? I believe that my beautiful Elizabeth has put on the chat the links to the events that are taking place next year in 2024. The first one is the 2nd year anniversary of the first Tuck reunion, if you will, in Arizona. And Judy, would you mind just saying a little bit about the September or the January 26, 27 gathering in Arizona?
Absolutely. So we are going to have the 2nd year anniversary of the first Ultimate Experience in Scottsdale, Arizona, January 26, 27. And it's a 2-day event with incredible speakers and panelists, and all about being in relationships, being in business, being in creation, being in service, being in parenting, being in love, being your document, right? I just got word, we haven't even announced it yet, but Ankush Jain is also going to be one of our speakers. Woo-hoo! And we have JP Morgan, we have Eric Lofholm, Dave Orton. I mean, it's a, packed itinerary with a lot of ways to really upgrade our being. So I hope to see you guys all there. We still have general admission tickets left. We sold out all the VIP seats already, all the upgraded tickets. So other than that, I know there's also the Birmingham event that's happening. So yes.
Yes, the Birmingham event happening at the end of May of 2024. So check out the links that we've put on the chat tonight. And also, of course, it's in the Tuck Facebook group. So make sure that you check into that. And then let's see what else. Yes, please join us in the after party. We will not be recording. We will, yes, thank you, Eric. This is the time, if you didn't get a chance to share before, we'd love to hear from you. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being you. And if you'd like, you may now unmute and say hello, goodbye, good evening.
Thank
Good
you,
morning.
everyone. Thank you for being
Thank you, everyone.